Today guys, we're back with another video and this is going to be Wood of Naruto was born with the Baryon mode, part 5, the battlefield. Naruto dashed forward as he had taken out. His seals had already taken out 4 shinobi. Had already taken out 1 shinobi and heavily injured 3. As Naruto began to slide through the forces at a quick pace, as he slashed through 2 bandits, as his eye began to glow a bit, and his blade began to glow a bit as well. The seal, he had a seal on his blade, just in case it was required. It was a seal similar towards the Edo Tensei, except instead of bringing souls back to life, they sealed souls. Because a long time ago he had heard of a contract called the Reaper Death contract, only matched by the Phoenix and Dragon contract. It was really cool. While the Reaper and Dragon contract, while the Phoenix and Dragon contract were cool and all, they didn't stand a chance against the Reaper contract, since the Reaper contract allowed you to trade souls, and it was really, really cool. Little did he know that soon he wouldn't need the contract, because he would get something better. As he rushed through the battlefield, Sasuke and Hinata prepared themselves. Hinata dashed off with lightning surrounding her gloves, as you could faintly see a lightning dragon around her palms. Sasuke began to charge electricity on his blade as he smirked. He didn't know that the blade automatically converted chakra into lightning chakra. Then he remembered. Naruto said that it converted it to his chakra that is conducted on the blade to his greatest affinity. So he must have a grand affinity for lightning, since the lightning was chirping off of the blade like crazy. The lightning was bouncing off of the walls. How much power was bouncing off of the blade. Sasuke rushed into the battlefield quickly as possible, as his blade was gripped tight. He sliced through a man completely. His whole entire body, it was sliced in half. As Sasuke began to feel bad about this, the seal on his back began to glow, and he basically continued the slaughter. Many of the bandits were wiped out by Hinata, Sasuke, or basically Hinata. But as it was heard, they heard a boom, as basically Naruto looked around as he saw it. There were lightning beasts charging charging towards Hinata. As he saw Hinata, she was being overpowered by 50 bandits. As even though the enhancement seals, even though she had the enhancement seals weren't basically enhancement seals that could give you go from basically no. The enhancement seals for to work, you have to pump chakra to them. And she's focusing her chakra onto basically her and her hands, so she isn't at full, so she isn't using the enhancement seals basically. As Hinata is being overpowered, the lightning beast charged. As the bandits all jumped out of the way as quickly as possible, a lightning beast was behind Hinata as it bit down on her side as he began to shake her as it was in her mouth, crushing her bones and body. Naruto's eye, his right eye, began to glow as its golden color now gained Tomoe, as those Tomoe then turned into blades. Well, no, as those Tomoe then turned into blades. As Naruto looked on at the sight, his left eye began to glow as well. As the Tomoe turned into blades, he looked on at Hinata, pissed off, furious, as chakra began to surround, began to basically be pushed into his eyes, as he unknowingly was focusing on his right eye, as the chakra began to push into his eye, as his eye began to send him a message, as a word popped into his head. Deal with death, he said, as then Death handed him a scroll. No one but Naruto could see it, as the scroll basically plopped into his hand. Naruto breathed in, devouring the scroll. Katun! Demonic flame. What no? Katun! Reaper's breath! Naruto yelled out as a purplish blue, no, a bluish purple flame shot out of his mouth as it engulfed the entire base, killing off the unknown shinobi. And the lightning tiger disappeared after the shinobi was basically killed, as everything within this encasement of blue flames turned into ash as their soul was snatched out of their body. It all began to flow into the scroll, which Naruto had devoured, as now he spat it out. And Naruto, he just felt like it, as he unsealed all of the souls that he had been killing within his days as an anvil worker. As all of these souls began to fly into the scroll as he smiled. I've done it, he said with a smirk on his face, as death looked at him. These are a total. This is the total of 40,000 souls. You can you can revive that girl 40 times over, he said. Alright, then revive her and put everything else into enhancing her visual prowess. Alright, the Reaper said. As he took all of the souls, as his then Hinata basically did like a puppet. Her bones began to snap back in place as they were all together. Naruto was glad that he didn't give away all of the souls, since his days as an Anbu, what the seal told him was that he killed up to around 200,000 men, which meant that he had 40,000 souls. He had 160,000 souls left within his blade. As Hinata basically got up, she looked around as everything was so slow. It was too slow. He wasn't used to this slowness. Shit, I went too fast. See, look, that's what I say. I can't redo shit. Once it's the first time, it is perfected. As basically, they smirked. Had they done it, they ran up to Kakashi. But done right? Nope, not even close. Those were only one of the bases, and judging by how small it was not the main base. As then Naruto's eyes opened widely. That base was as big as a compound. Do you really mean that? Yeah. The biggest bases edge around a small village, not a nation, small nation, such as the Rain Village and the Five Great Nations and all. It's a very, very small village. Like y'all see an anime that small. Those are the biggest bases. But judging by how big this base was, we'll say I'm betting that their base is the size of a starting set of a 50-year-old settlement. So, what about that? You'll understand, he said, as then they walked off to the next bandit camp. Naruto looked on as he rushed in, as he sliced through multiple shinobi. Kakashi was there to see whether they were actually going to be promoted. He knew that they could do this easily. As Sasuke rushed on, he smirked as his blade was charged with lightning chakra as he rushed in. He kicked the shinobi's head so hard that their brain had been churned into gush, as then he sliced off the head, as then he disappeared as he spun his blade around. He wasn't proficient in the Mangekyo that he had just gained earlier. But no, no buts. So he was basically using the regular Sharingan. Because he wasn't proficient in the Mangekyo. So he rushed on, slicing through opponents. As he now went into the fray, she yelled out, Lightning Tiger Fist! She yelled out. She slammed her fist into one of the souls, into one of the men, as Naruto disappeared as he stabbed into them, taking their soul quickly as possible. As he was basically killing them and taking the souls of Sasuke and Hinata's kills. Like he was like basically just like taking their souls, and that was basically what was just happening. By the time that they had ended, Naruto had completely restocked on souls, as there were so many bases that he had gotten back to his 200,000 soul count, which was a lot of bandits. Because you had to have 40,000 bandits. So yeah, so it was pretty big. As Naruto smirked. It's my sister. As Naruto basically smirked, he flew towards his opponent. After they had finished, they had reached the leaf. Good. This was grand, he said, looking towards everyone. Shit! I moved too fast. As the third Hokage looked towards, basically, Hinata. I'm sorry, Hinata, but the Hyuga clan has disowned you, and now you aren't a Hyuga. As Hinata's eyes opened widely. She wasn't weak at all, so why would they do that? I'm afraid that from what my Anbu can gather, Hizashi kicked you out because of the death of your mother. As Hinata's eyes opened widely. Mom? She's dead? Hinata said. Yeah. After you had left, since the rest of the Hyuga were working and your mother was outside of the compound, she couldn't be protected. Shinobi from the cloud knocked her out and attempted to kidnap her so they can make her breed within the cloud village and make her children breed for them. But when she apparently didn't cooperate, They killed her by accident. After Anbu had found the dead body, we tried to find the men who did it, and we found them. And after hearing the news, Hizashi blamed it all on you. I don't know if it was grief or him just going crazy, but he seemed to really believe that you were the reason behind your mother's death. The third said, looking towards Hinata, as Hinata was tearing up. Her father had just disowned her. She had a right to be sad. I mean, wouldn't you be sad if your family disowned you? As Hinata held on to her mouth, she was just disowned, plus her mother had died. It was a double whammy. Who is Hinata gonna live with? You're gonna have to live on her own until, well, she's gonna have to live on her own. Since she is a ninja, she is considered an adult. So, she can either move in with someone. He said, winking towards Naruto. Or she could just buy her own apartment. As Naruto said, while looking towards Hinata, she can live with me. As Hinata looked at him, are you sure, Naruto-kun? Yeah, I'm sure, he said, looking towards Hinata with a smile on his face. As Hinata rushed up to him and began to cry into his chest. We now skip when the meeting is over with. Hinata, Naruto, and Sasuke were walking towards Naruto's home. So Naruto, it's kind of awkward since, basically Hinata is gonna live with you and all. Plus, he said, as he then did the shin pose to OP. As then Sasuke did the body flicker no jutsu. As he disappeared, Naruto cursed him, but they continued walking. Hinata, since you're gonna be living with me, he said as they arrived, you might as well have free access and free roam to the entire house, Naruto said, while looking towards Hinata. As Hinata looked towards him, what do you mean? Hinata said. And then Naruto said, you'll see. But first, you have to do this, he said, as he pulled out a kunai, then sliced her thumb, as he captured the blood inside of a tube. As Hinata pulled out her bracelet. As Naruto walked into the home, leaving Hinata wondering what was he doing inside of the home. Naruto walked towards his room. That was the base of operating, which determined who were allowed to go inside of his house instantly, or who weren't allowed. As Naruto basically walked into his room, then he reached the bed. As he placed his hand on one part of the, basically the bed, like basically a part of the bed, like y'all know the top of the bed with like behind the pillows and all of that, where it's like it's higher than everything else, and they got like this little ball at the top. I don't know if everybody else have that type of bed, but I do. Anyway, y'all might have had that type of bed before if y'all don't have one right now. So I'm just letting y'all know. That was the type of bed that was basically being held right there. Yeah. Naruto, as Naruto touched this with his own blood dripping the part of the bed, the entire bed just lifted up. And then Naruto walked into basically this hatch as there are stairs. As he walked down, we then see a ceiling array. And next to the ceiling array were basically podiums. Not real, like podiums of the same size, because I'm not just trying to like imply anything. No. Podiums of the same size, but there were one that was it. There were two that were bigger than the rest. One that was already filled with blood, and there was another. As Naruto walked up to it, as the seal made him slightly levitate. As he levitated a bit, then he got up and poured the blood into the seal, putting it into the like tube-like things. As he sealed it by putting the top on. As he got down, the lines or the intricate drawings, which was basically the seal, led towards like basically the once he poured the blood in, like the seal began to glow and glow as the glowing led towards the main seal, which was at the middle of the floor. And the rest of the seals that were near the house, but they looked a bit more complicated than the other seals. This allowed who had the power to basically get in to anywhere in the house that required seals. So after they had gotten in, Naruto basically looked towards the area, and then he opened up the door. As he went back upstairs, the bed closed down, making it seem as if the hatch was never there, like it was non-existent. And the hatch was not there. Even if you looked under the bed, you couldn't see the hatch. As he walked back out, Hinata. He said, come in. As Hinata said, where's the bracelet? You don't require the bracelet anymore, since you're actually living with me. He said, okay. Hinata said, as then she walked up towards Naruto, and she entered the home. I couldn't get in. As Naruto then said, follow me. As then they walked to around back of the house. To the, like, basically the back of the house. Naruto cut his, basically cut his hand with the kunai and rubbed his blood over his blade. Then he shoved it into a part of the house which basically seemed to appear once he was thrusting his blade down. As Hinata looked on at the intricate seals that were around this basically sheath of some sorts. They were basically around this sheath of some sorts. As the seals around the sheath began to slightly glow, the house didn't seem to change. As Naruto sat there for about 2 minutes, as Naruto and Hinata then went on. As they entered the home, Hinata noticed that there was nothing different, except as she walked near the hallway, she noticed a new room labeled Hinata. Naruto, how did you do that? Simple. My home, I modified my home to make it more like a storage seal. And using my chakra, which I can create anything out of, he said, as he then showed his chakra as a blade dropped out of a glowing patch of chakra near his hand, a kunai, shuriken, and a book, as Hinata was shooketh. So, all that was required was a bit of thought on what your room should look like, and voila, Naruto said, looking towards Hinata. As Hinata then hugged him, as Naruto was surprised. But he was even more surprised when Hinata planted a kiss onto his cheek, as then she rushed off. As Naruto blushed a bit and went inside of his room. And that's going to be the end of this video. Make sure that y'all like, subscribe, and give this a big fat, all of that shit. This video was originally supposed to be like 44 minutes, but it turned out to be 33 minutes, or probably 34 minutes in something. But yeah, it was pretty much a bit shorter than I would like it to be, but again, I did not go into that many details with this, so it's not as detailed as the original, because I'm like kind of sick and tired of doing it, since like, even though this was my second time doing it, it's just upsetting to constantly do a concept again and again. So yeah, that's going to be the end of this video. So make sure that y'all like, subscribe, and give this all a big, fat, juicy kiss.
Power on.
So yeah.
Bluetooth.
Bye, guys.